when a seasoned black detective, dedicated to dismantling cybercrime, discovers his life savings stolen by an arrogant hacker. He has no idea the theft is tied to a web of deep-seated racism and social injustice. Their clash becomes more than a battle of wits. It's a collision of worlds, where one man's arrogance meets another's unyielding pursuit of justice. But the detective's response to this betrayal will shock even those who think they've seen it all. Let's start at the beginning. Late at night, in the bustling heart of Silicon Valley, the dim glow of screens illuminated Lucas Green's cramped apartment. At 32, Lucas, a pale-skinned tech genius, had carved a reputation as an unpredictable digital maverick. His apartment mirrored his chaotic mind, a maze of tangled cables, open laptops, and half-empty energy drink cans. He sat hunched over his desk, his sharp eyes reflecting the neon light of his custom-built rig. Fingers danced across his mechanical keyboard, the clacking sound rhythmic and hypnotic. On his monitor, streams of code raced upward, a visual symphony of his latest exploit. Tonight, Lucas had targeted an online wallet under the pseudonym Omega Black, a profile he assumed belonged to another faceless crypto enthusiast. A mischievous grin spread across his face as the digital transfer finalized. 10 bitcoins, roughly $300,000, moved seamlessly into his hidden wallet. Lucas leaned back, stretching his arms, his smirk growing wider. "Easy money," he muttered, already imagining the headlines he'd read later in underground forums praising his boldness. Across town, in the quiet hum of a sleek suburban neighborhood, Keith Daniels sat in his office, the glow of his computer screen casting long shadows on the walls. At 42, Keith, a seasoned undercover cop in the cybercrime unit, was the antithesis of the reckless criminals he pursued. His dark-shaved head glistened under the light, his muscular frame poised and alert. A meticulous man, Keith had spent months tracking a surge of cryptocurrency thefts, each marked by patterns he knew too well. Tonight, Keith's focus sharpened. His laptop's screen blinked with new data, and his heart sank as he recognized the transfer ID. The wallet wasn't just a trap for thieves. It contained his personal savings, years of cautious investments he'd stored to support his family after his relentless career in law enforcement. For Keith, this case was no longer about faceless justice. It was personal. He exhaled slowly, his broad shoulders relaxing slightly as he reached for his phone. His tailored navy blue suit, chosen for its authoritative edge during daytime fieldwork, was now creased from hours of sitting. Keith's jaw tightened as he began composing a plan, one that would be as calculated as the hackers he hunted. The stark contrast between the two men was glaring. Lucas, a reckless mastermind, drunk on his own digital power, versus Keith, a disciplined officer who lived for order in the chaos of cybercrime. Yet, they were now inextricably linked, their paths set on a collision course that neither could predict. Keith's phone buzzed softly as he dialed a colleague, setting the wheels in motion. He knew Lucas's kind well, arrogant, careless in their victories. Tonight, the hacker had unknowingly crossed the wrong target, and Keith Daniels was about to make that abundantly clear. The next morning, Lucas Green strolled into a trendy cafe nestled in the heart of Silicon Valley, the kind of place that boasted minimalist decor and a menu peppered with artisanal jargon. Wearing a hoodie and jeans that belied his talent for digital subterfuge, Lucas was brimming with confidence. He ordered an overpriced latte, one of those foamy concoctions that barely justified its price tag, and claimed a corner table. His sleek laptop, the tool of his trade, gleamed under the soft morning light. The thrill of his latest heist still hummed in his veins. Sipping his latte, Lucas leaned back, his fingers lazily scrolling through online forums. The underground chatter was already abuzz with speculation about the daring Omega Black hack, and though he didn't outright claim credit, Lucas reveled in the coded admiration from his peers. A smirk played on his lips. To him, the world was a playground, and he had just scored the ultimate prize. He was so immersed in his triumph that he didn't notice Keith Daniels enter the cafe. Dressed in a tailored gray suit that fit him like a glove, Keith moved with quiet authority. His polished shoes clicked against the tiled floor as his sharp gaze swept the room, instantly locking onto Lucas. The hacker's relaxed posture and expensive gadgetry made him an easy mark. Keith's expression remained neutral, but inside, he was cataloging every detail. Lucas's cocky grin, the glow of his laptop, and the faint air of self-satisfaction radiating from him. Keith approached casually, his movements measured and deliberate. "Nice laptop," he said, his voice steady and disarming. He gestured toward Lucas's rig, pretending genuine interest. "What's your line of work?" Lucas looked up, momentarily surprised, but quickly recovered. Confidence oozed from his every word as he replied, "Freelance cybersecurity. Keeps me ahead of the curve." He leaned back in his chair, clearly enjoying the opportunity to flaunt his supposed expertise. Keith nodded, maintaining an air of casual curiosity. "Ever work with Bitcoin? Crazy market these days." Lucas chuckled, the hint of a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Oh, I know a thing or two," he said, his voice dripping with smugness. Keith watched as the hacker's demeanor betrayed a telling pride. Lucas's cockiness practically screamed, "I'm the guy who pulled it off." Keith made a mental note of the slip and allowed the conversation to drift on for a few more minutes before offering a polite farewell. Once outside, Keith's relaxed demeanor disappeared, replaced by the steely focus of an experienced detective. Back at his office, he combed through his notes and cross-referenced Lucas's recent online activity. It didn't take long to find the breadcrumbs Lucas had unwittingly left behind. Timestamps that matched the transfer, his IP address flagged during the heist, and even a thinly veiled brag on a notorious hacking forum about robbing Omega Black. Keith's lips curled into a faint smile. The hacker's arrogance had been his undoing. Armed with irrefutable evidence, Keith began to plan the next phase, confident that Lucas's false sense of security wouldn't last long. The game was on. 2 days later, Lucas Green received a message through an encrypted channel, a high-paying offer to launder cryptocurrency. The pitch was perfect, anonymous, lucrative, and right up his alley. Greed trumped caution as Lucas accepted, eager to cash in again. The instructions led him to a downtown high-rise office. When he stepped inside, the space screamed wealth, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist decor, and a gleaming oak desk. Behind it stood Keith Daniels, his tailored suit sharp and his demeanor sharper. "Mr. Green," Keith said, his tone chillingly calm as he rose to his full height. "You've been busy." Lucas froze, his confident smirk evaporating. "Wait. What?" His voice cracked as his eyes darted around, searching for an escape. Keith reached into his jacket, slowly pulling out a badge. "Detective Daniels, Cybercrime Unit," he announced, his tone icy. "Let's discuss the bitcoins you borrowed." Lucas's face paled as Keith placed a folder on the desk, flipping it open to reveal a damning collection of evidence. Transaction logs, forum screenshots, and timestamps. Each piece was irrefutable proof of Lucas's crimes. "Your arrogance left a trail," Keith said, leaning closer. "Now you've got 2 choices: cooperate or spend the next decade behind bars." Lucas's bravado crumbled as the weight of the situation hit him. He swallowed hard, his voice barely a whisper. "What do you want from me?" Keith's lips curved into a faint smile. "Good. Let's start talking." In that moment, Lucas knew his life had taken a turn, and Keith Daniels was firmly in control. News of Lucas's arrest hit the local headlines, a stark warning to other hackers. Keith, however, wasn't celebrating. At the precinct, he sifted through Lucas's seized data, uncovering a broader network of cybercriminals targeting unsuspecting victims. Weeks later, Keith's investigation culminated in a massive sting operation, dismantling a nationwide hacking ring. The stolen bitcoins, including Keith's, were recovered and returned to their rightful owners. At a press conference, Keith, now hailed as a hero, stood tall. "Justice isn't just about punishment," he said. "It's about making things right." For Lucas, now facing years in prison, Keith's calm authority was a lesson he wouldn't forget.